double dipping at point guard.
I think the Sixers had a worse draft.
Sixers had a really bad draft. I do agree with you there. But it was a really confusing draft to me as a Net fan. The only thing I can think of is he's going to put Musa at backup 4 and hope that he grows, or maybe Carrucks, and he meaning Kenny Atkinson, maybe Carrucks at the 3, and Jeremy Lin will be traded, which I do think is going to happen. I think either Lin or Dinwiddie will be traded, preferably Jeremy Lin. A lot of rumors about Spencer Dinwiddie flying around. I don't like it. I want Dinwiddie to stay. I know him and Russell had a tough time playing together last year, but he's a building block. You can build around Spencer Dinwiddie. Next year's a developmental year, guys.
For both teams, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see if after a whole offseason in the gym together working out, they can play together. And if they can't by December or January, then you can trade Dinwiddie, but give it a chance first. I mean, that's just my thinking. I would not trade Dinwiddie now unless it was for an absolute haul. Mm-hmm. And I really thought this draft went kind of badly for the Nets. Mo Wagner going 4 picks before. Oh, that killed me.
I feel like Los Angeles is a perfect place for him, too.
Yeah. He'll work really well in L.A. And
with LeBron, maybe? You never know.
Could happen. That right away. He's got himself a weapon down there.
Could happen. Hey, listen, I like Mo Wagner. I'd want to play with Wagner. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the NBA draft for the Brooklyn Nets.
I'm going to go one further. I think you guys are clearly the better team of the two teams, assuming Kristaps Porzingis does not play, which I honestly, at this point, I almost hope he takes the year off just to get healthy.
No need to rush it,
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
No, this is going to be a lost season anyway, so just whatever. But I think they can contend for an 8th spot in the playoffs.
No.
I think so.
No chance.
This is going to be a Dwight Howard team, a Dwight Howard offense.
But Dwight's being bought out.
What's that?
Dwight's being bought out.
Oh, excuse me. They're buying out the contract?
You didn't know that?
No, I missed it. I must have missed that.
That broke yesterday, didn't it?
I think
or the day before?
No, definitely yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, yesterday it broke.
Oh, excuse me. I missed that. Never
Were you
mind.
living in a cave or something?
Whoa, man. Missed it.
Gee whiz.
Sorry.
I do think they're going to bring Jahlil Okafor back. I'll tell you that. 1-year deal, veterans minimum. I'd like that.
How do you feel about that? Because he just never quite panned out.
No, I like Okafor. Give him 1 year. Give him 1 year.
Yeah.
Give him one more year.
Time.
Yeah, exactly. Atkinson didn't play him.
Yeah.
I mean, Mozgov got upset because he didn't play. I mean, I can't blame Mozgov for getting upset. That guy didn't play. That guy wants to play. Same thing with Okafor. Okafor didn't play. Rashad Vaughn barely played. Granted, he got traded like a week after the Nets acquired him, but the guy didn't play. Dante Cunningham was playing over Okafor. I mean, gee whiz, Kenny Atkinson, you're playing the wrong guys here. I really want to see what Okafor can do. Give him a full year with the Nets. Have him play. The Nets aren't going to be good next year. They're not being an 8 seed. They can afford to have another lousy season, and they have their pick. It's a miracle. I didn't think I'd see it in my lifetime. Yeah, the applause sound effect. Did you see the graphic that ESPN put up for the Nets? Bad trades in history. Louisiana Purchase.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
Yeah.
They compared it to the Louisiana Purchase?
Wait, I'm not done. Babe Ruth and Herschel Walker.
Oh, stop it.
To me, it was funny.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, what are they doing right now?
I thought it was funny. I'm not going to lie to you. But we do have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on Beyond the Game.
Well, hello, Jacob.
How's it going, Brandon? How are you?
Going on, nothing, man. You know, post draft day, just wanted to talk about it a little bit.
Brandon, is your phone ringing?
I was going to say, with that chime in the background.
My seatbelt, sorry.
Oh,
Put your seatbelt on. Are you driving?
Buckle up, Brandon. Click it or ticket. Click it or ticket, Brandon.
I know, I just clicked it, so you can't hear it no more.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on the draft, buddy?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it was really kind of like odd. It was so many trades, and like it's not right for like the guys being drafted because you know one time they were wearing one hat, and then after like the interview they had to put on a different hat. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was pretty bad on the league's part.
I agree with you.
Because, like, come on, man, it's not fair. These guys want to, live out their dreams and have, a good career for a team that really wants them, So
Vince Carter and Anton Jameson actually had to trade hats on the floor in front of David Stern.
That's embarrassing. Yeah. Man, that's not good. But
no, but I agree with you.
The Knicks, I mean, I don't know what to expect from Knox. You know what I'm saying? Like, the number one guy I think people really wanted was Porter. Jr., but it's like, hey, man.
The guy only played 3 games at Missouri. He'd have been a horrible pick for the Nets.
I know.
Brandon, who
man.
did you want?
I was thinking Bridges, honestly.
Which one,
really
Michael or Miles?
Michael from Villanova.
That would have been a good pick. But Knox is better than Michael. You're going to like Kevin Knox, Brandon, I promise you.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, we definitely needed like a stretch forward, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's what the Nets needed. I'll tell you, I'm going to sort of contradict myself here, but I'm going to explain why I'm doing it. I wanted the Nets to trade up to 14 to take Porter Jr. And I'm going to tell you why. The Nets can afford to have a guy like that miss because the Nets wouldn't be giving up a lot to get to 14. All they would take is Kenneth Faried's contract. So you can do that.
That's a dumb contract. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, if you're giving up a bunch of future picks, then obviously don't do it. But if it's Jeremy Lin for Kenneth Faried and the 14th overall pick, maybe I'll kick in the 29th pick. I'm doing that in a heartbeat, and I'm taking Porter.
Well, what did you like so far? I mean, from last night, what did you like, you guys?
I mean, I like the players that the Nets drafted. I'm just kind of confused as to how they fit in the system. I really wanted the Nets to take Bates Diop out of OSU. Rodion's correct. I'm not sure if there's a spot for him right now unless Jeremy Lin gets traded. Zahn and Musa, I think, will slide in at the backup 4, but I gotta be honest with you, there's a part of me that would rather see him play than Carroll. I have a lot of question marks about this draft for the Nets.
Okay. And last thing I want to ask before you go, what do you think is going to be the problem this year for the Knicks? The offense or the defense? Or just both?
That's a good question. How about both?
It's like, I mean, we got to re-sign Cantor, I think, and KP's not going to be back till probably like December, January, so it's like, where do we stand from here?
Here's the thing, though, about re-signing Cantor. I feel like if Knick fans now, or like the organization is accepting that, this kind of next season is kind of like a bit of a lost season, do you really think you should drop all the money on Cantor if, you're not going to be making a push right away? Because I feel like he's the type of guy where, he could be on a team that's going to be a win-now team, but when you look at the Knicks, obviously that's not going to be the situation. So I feel like you'd want to save up as much cap space as possible. I understand you still want to get guys in for the starting lineup because you don't want to push guys into the starting lineup too quickly. But I mean, I don't know. It's definitely an interesting situation because they might have to now that Kyle O'Quinn opted out of his contract, so he's going to be a free agent.
That was expected.
But I mean, it's an interesting factor that the Knicks are going to have to work with because you want to think. Because again, if you want to make a push, maybe like in free agency, just to get a lot of guys next year, not re-signing Cantor unless it's a 1-year deal can do that. But
what about Noah? I mean, he's still on
he's for 2 years.
What can we expect out of him?
Nothing. A buyout.
Get rid of
They're going to stretch his contract. I'm telling you right now, they're going to stretch his contract. They have to. You can't have that dead cap on the books. You just can't.
And then also, like, in the locker room, too, even though if it was with Hornacek he had problems with, you still know he's the type of guy that will totally just, like, it could screw over the locker room. Yeah, you don't want that.
I think Fizdale would want to have a clean slate with him, but it doesn't mean he's going to play. But even then, you're right, Jacob. You can't have that cap space just doing nothing.
No, spread it out and make it a little more palatable.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. You're listening to Beyond the Game on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We are live twice a week, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. and Fridays at 3 p.m. I am Jacob Volk. Sitting across from me, Dominic Arbolino, Eric Fischetti, and Nick Ornberger. Number to call if you have something on your mind is 516-572-7440. So let's broaden our basketball horizons here. The Hawks traded the rights to Luka Doncic to the Mavericks for the rights to Trae Young and their first-round pick next year that has a bunch of protections on it that I'm not going to get into. Who do you think won the trade, guys? Mavs.
Carlisle and that brain trust do such a great job as far as scouting.
I agree with you. I'm not gonna lie.
Real Dennis Smith Jr. and Luka Doncic. Oh my God!
What I'm going to be worried about is with Dennis Schroeder and Trae Young. What's going to happen there?
I think they can play together, but I don't think the Hawks do. I think Dennis Schroeder is going to be traded, especially since the Hawks drafted Kevin Huerter. I did not like what the Hawks did. Omari Spellman was a reach. Trae Young at 5 is a joke for them. Just take Mohamed Bamba and be happy. And Kevin Huerter, I'm not crazy about the fit. But we do have another caller on the line. Caller, you're on Beyond the Game.
How you doing, Richie from Shirley?
Doing good, Richie. What's going on?
And you guys going to the draft party?
No, not going to the draft party. Sorry.
Not gonna go.
No.
I thought about it, but then I work Friday, so I tried to get off.
Friday's my big money day.
I went to the draft party when the Islanders drafted John Tavares and Ryan Strome, and it was like, okay, I did it. Now I can leave.
Oh, yeah, it was that bad, huh?
Yeah, it's not that great, honestly.
Anyway, who was that family yesterday on TV when they drafted this? Why are they showing that family on TV for?
Because they want to make Knicks fans look stupid.
That's
and
what it is.
It's honestly unfortunate. Because you guys aren't stupid. You guys are smart fans. You're good fans. You really are, Richie. I know for a fact you're a very good Knicks fan. You're very smart.
And it's not just the NBA that does this, by the way. The NFL makes Jets fans look ridiculous.
Oh, my God. Every year I see the package of failed Jet picks, and half of them were decent players.
Yeah.
Ken O'Brien was a good player for the Jets. Jeff Wagaman was good.
You got to give this kid a chance.
Yes.
You're going to like Kevin Knox, Richie.
Yeah,
I promise you.
I think so, too. Give him a chance to see what happens and start rebuilding. That's the key. Don't go around spending millions of dollars of money. Start from the beginning.
Yeah. And Perry and Mills are smart guys. Fizdale's a good hire. There are finally adults in the room. I like what the Knicks are doing. I really do.
Well, I know. What about the coach? What do you think about him?
I like Fizdale.
Yeah.
He did have some success in Memphis. Obviously, he didn't get along with Marc Gasol, but I thought he was the best hire for the Knicks since guys like Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy were pipe dreams.
How come you think Mark Jackson didn't get the job? What was the reason why you didn't think he got it?
I don't think he wanted it. I don't think he wanted it, to be honest with you.
Maybe because he was out of coaching for long enough?
Yeah.
The thing is, when guys get into that commentating booth, they get really comfortable there.
Yeah.
It's why John Gruden waited 10 years to get back into coaching.
It's a nice, easy job, and it's fun to do if you're good at it.
And if you're around the game, it works.
And the only reason Steve Kerr left his job was because he was going to coach the greatest team maybe we've ever seen assembled. So,
and they're making, I'm sure Mark Jackson will make it over $1 million a year, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, 100%.
He has to make at least that to sit next to Jeff Van Gundy because I can't stand him. All right, Richie, thanks for the call, buddy.
Okay, take care, guys. Bye.
All right. So the 76ers traded the rights to Mikal Bridges to the Suns for the rights to Jair Smith and the Heat's unprotected first-round pick in 2021. Who do you think won the trade?
To be honest,
Phoenix.
the first thing I think about this, looking at this, it's not even about who won the trade. It's about how unfortunate the situation is. Because
it really was.
Bridges, obviously, his mother works for the 76ers.
In the HR department.
And they had that interview after
hometown,
like right after, his hometown as well. And he's saying how happy he is to be home, and then obviously he's able to play with the 76ers. But I think it's so unfortunate. He had a whole press conference, and then he finds out after that he gets traded to the Suns.
You know what I hated about that the most? First off, there was no warning whatsoever.
You're right.
And you know what? And if someone came up to his agent or his mom or him and said this was not 100% right now, that would have been fine. But even then, it is just so unfortunate for the kid. He was going to play in his hometown team, a 76ers team that is clearly on the rise, but he's also going to the Phoenix Suns, who's clearly on the rise as well, too.
I like what the Suns are doing.
I also, real quick, I just don't like how the ESPN interviewer that was kind of telling them about the trades.
No, I didn't mind that, to be honest with you.
I would rather
they have to know.
I guess.
I mean, there's something to be said about her being the one telling them, but it's also her job to do that.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. Yeah.
So we do have a caller on the line. Loving the calls today. Caller, you're on Beyond the Game.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing good, Martin from Merrick. What's going on?
So, I'm glad you guys were just talking about the 76ers situation, because you want to know what bothered me, and Joe and Evan were discussing it a little bit this morning.
Yeah.
You know these trades are going down if you're the NBA or ESPN. Why do they allow these guys to wear the hats of the teams that they were drafted by just for a minute later or 3 minutes later, saying, oh, no, you're not going to Philadelphia. You're going to Phoenix.
Can I tell you why? It makes for good television. That's all it is. Wojnarowski dropping those Woj bombs, that was good publicity, even though it was a classless move. What Wojnarowski did is equivalent to, like, I was watching Code Black last night, good show on CBS. It would be equivalent to me sitting next to Marcia Gay Harden, the star of the show, and her telling me 5 minutes before every